Welcome everybody, I am Mrs. Rafferty. Today we are going to be talking about sequencing. So when we talk about sequencing, we're actually talking about retelling a story in the same sequence, in the same order. So we are going to read the story for this week called Mama, Is It Summer Yet? After that, we are going to do a little Cami assignment together, and then we are going to sequence the parts of the story in the correct order. So let's begin. First thing we're going to do is we are going to read the story, Mama, Is It Summer Yet? Mama, Is It Summer Yet? By Nikki McClure. So Nikki McClure is the author, and since there's no illustrator listed here, we are going to assume that she is both the author and the illustrator, which means that she wrote the words as well as drew the pictures. Our title of our story is Mama, Is It Summer Yet? Here we have our table of contents page. We have Mama, Is It Summer Yet? Which begins on page 4. It is a fiction story, so it is made up, by Nikki McClure. We also have a paired reader, Poetry About the Seasons, that begins on page 34. We have a dedication page. It says, For My Mother, and we see her initials NM, which is our author, Nikki McClure. It also says, Thank you to Susan Van Meter and Georgia Munger for their help with finding the right words and pictures. Mama, Is It Summer Yet? Mama, Is it summer yet? Not yet, my little one, but the buds are swelling. Soon new leaves will unfold. So we know the buds are the little seeds on the plants. Mama, is it summer yet? Not yet, my little one, but the squirrel is building her nest. Soon her babies will be born. Mama, is it summer yet? He's watering his plants. Not yet, my little one, but the earth is soft. Soon the seeds will sprout and root. Mama, is it summer yet? Not yet, my little one, but the swallows are singing. Soon warmer winds will blow, so we know that swallows are a type of bird. Mama, is it summer yet? Here they are in the pond. Not yet, my little one, but the ducklings are following their mother. Soon they will grow big and bold. Mama, is it summer yet? Not yet, my little one, but the trees are blossoming. Soon tiny apples will appear. Mama, is it summer yet? Here they are eating strawberries. Yes, oh yes, my little one. The honey bees are in the flowers. The sun is warm on your round belly. The berries are juicy and sweet. And because it's summer, they are now in the pool. My little one, it is summer now. The end. Okay, so to sequence, we know that sequencing means to put the story in order from the beginning to the end. So we're going to complete this worksheet together using Cami. And the first thing we're going to talk about is circle the picture that shows what happened first. So what happened first? Did they put on their flip-flops, or did they look outside and see that it was still a little wintry outside? You're right, it was still a little wintry at the beginning of this story. So we are going to circle the little boy looking out the window. So what happened next? Did the ducklings come or did they jump in the pool? So if we remember when we talked about our story, the ducklings came in the middle of the story. At the end of the story is when they went swimming. So after winter, we could say that it is spring because we know that our 4 seasons, we have fall, winter, spring, and summer. So we would circle the ducklings. Our last question says, what happened at the end of the story? So I'm going to give you a couple minutes just to think about what happened at the end of the story, and then we're going to write about what we thought happened. You're right. So it was summer at the end of the story, and they began to swim. So we're going to write that. It was summer, and we have to remember our period at the end of our sentence because our period tells us to stop. And we could say they swam because they swam in the water in the little pool with a period. Whoops. Very good. So now that we did our worksheet for this, we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at a PowerPoint. And we're going to put them in order for our sequencing. So remember, sequencing is when you put the pictures in order from the first thing that happened to the last thing that happened. So Mama Is It Summer Yet by Nikki McClure. So here we have the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we have a bunch of pictures over here. So we're going to look at these pictures and see which one should go where, and we're going to move them. So we know at the beginning of the story they were looking out the window at the snowy winter weather. After they were looking out the window, they had to gather some branches and things to get ready for their little squirrel tent, just like the squirrels were having babies. So then they made their little cabin for the squirrels to have babies. Now we know that it was almost spring, so he started to plant his seeds. So we're going to put that on number 4, where he is planting his seeds. And of course, after you plant your seeds, you have to water your seeds. So there he is getting ready to water his seeds. So this is the order of the story. He was looking out the window. He gathered his sticks and things for his little tent. He created his tent in the spring, and he started to plant and sow, which is that fancy word for plant, sow his seeds, and then of course he had to water his plants. So when we look at the next page, we look at this page. What happened next in the story? We have the little boy in the pool, the ducklings, him hammering, them swimming, or them laying out in the towel and putting on their boots. So we know from the previous page that he was getting his house ready for the spring. So he was planting his seeds and sowing his seeds. And in the story, he put up a big windsock on his house because that helps in the spring when it's very windy. After he got the house ready, him and his mom took a little boat ride to see the ducklings because the ducklings hatch in the spring. So he was putting on his rain boots. And they went out in the lake on their little thing and they saw those ducklings. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. What happened next? Did they sit on their blanket or did they swim in the pool? So we know at the end of the story it was finally summer and he got to swim in his swimming pool. So we're going to assume that him laying out on the blanket is what happened second to last because it wasn't summer yet. So they were just enjoying some strawberries and laying on the blanket. And then, of course, last, it was finally summer. He was all excited, and he got to swim in his pool. So that is sequencing. It's how you tell a story from the beginning to the end. So, of course, continue to work on your work for the day. We will see everybody later, and I hope you had a great day.